Okay guys, welcome back to the channel, and let's start this emotional journey with the only way that makes sense, with the most soul-shattering, tear-jerking, heart-rending moment in all of Final Fantasy. Okay, maybe not that one, but from here on out guys, it's all downhill for your tear ducts. Okay, in this video guys, we are going to be exploring the most heart-wrenching and emotional scenes throughout Final Fantasy. And as you know guys, Final Fantasy isn't just known for its epic battles, its beautiful music or its stunning worlds. What truly sets this series apart, what keeps fans coming back year after year, are the emotions. These games don't just tell stories, they hurt, they heal, and they stay with us long after the credits roll. Whether it's a heartbreaking farewell, the crushing weight of sacrifice, or that sudden twist that leaves you speechless, Final Fantasy has mastered the art of breaking our hearts in the most beautiful of ways. Across decades of titles, we've watched heroes fall, friendships break, and characters grow through loss, love, and everything in between. Some scenes have shocked us, some scenes have made us cry, and a few have carved themselves into gaming history forever. In this video guys, I am counting down the most emotional moments in all of Final Fantasy, from iconic tragedies to subtle personal heartbreaks. These are the scenes that have defined the soul of the series, so go grab a Phoenix down, maybe a box of tissues, and let's relive the moments that have hit us the hardest and reminded us why we fell in love with Final Fantasy in the first place. I'm your host Rayman from Respawn Games, and let's get to it. Okay guys, starting off with a couple of honourable mentions, we have the space scene from Final Fantasy VIII. Now, to put this into context, Rinoa's fate, she's drifted off into space, and at this point in the game, she's sort of drifting unconscious through the vacuum of space, alone and dying. Her body's floating away after she helps release Sorceress Adele under the control of Ultimecia. As she drifts further and further from safety, it becomes increasingly clear that this could be it, that she might not even come back. Squall, who has always kept people at arm's length, chooses in this moment to risk everything and chase her into space. With no real plan, no backup, and no guarantee he'll even reach her, it's an act of desperation and love. The thing is, it's emotional because until this moment, Squall's always been sort of emotionally closed off, constantly saying things like whatever. He's afraid of getting close to people because he doesn't want to experience loss, like he did as a child. But in this moment, when Rinoa's life is on the line, all of that just melts away. He doesn't hesitate, he chooses to care. It's not a gradual change, it's a leap, both literal and emotional. And Rinoa's helpless at this point, unconscious, alone in one of the most terrifying environments imaginable, space. There's no sound, no rescue, no oxygen. You're just watching her slowly drifting as the haunting music plays, and it just feels so genuinely hopeless at this point. You're not just watching a dramatic scene, you feel the panic, the helplessness, and the silence. And then you have the track Eyes on Me, which begins to swell, a song that's been thematically tied to their relationship from early on. It's not just background music anymore, it means something here. Coupled with the surreal, silent, dreamlike visuals of the two characters finally finding each other in space, it feels like time stops. Squall spent his entire life fighting the idea of connection, running from intimacy, but here he is, literally reaching out through the void to save someone he's come to love. It's a perfect metaphor, and he catches her, they embrace, they breathe together in the silence of space, and they survive together. So the space scene's emotional because it's not just a rescue, it's the moment Squall finally opens his heart, it's the moment he stops being alone, and it's the moment their bond, quiet, slow burning, and fragile, finally becomes real. It's not just loud or dramatic, it's intimate, it's haunting and human, and that's what makes it so unforgettable. Okay guys, the next honourable mention on our list is the Siege of Bermisia. Now, this one isn't such an emotional scene itself, but it's more the time you're there, what's happening in the world, what's happening in the game at this time. And it's a really sort of dark, emotional time in the game, and it's kind of like it's the Burmecia is the Kingdom of Rain, and it's home to the Burmecians, and it's under attack by Queen Bran's forces, and it's led by mysterious and powerful General Beatrix and the dark figure Kuja. By the time Zidane, Vivi, Freya and the party arrive, the city's already in ruins. Its once grand architecture broken, its people either fled or slaughtered, and it's still raining. The party arrives too late to stop the worst of it, and all they can do is witness the aftermath. Freya is the emotional anchor at this scene. It's her home. She returns hoping to protect it and to reunite with her lost love so Fratly. But instead of a triumphant return, she finds her kingdom shattered, its people gone, and her memories trampled beneath the boots of invaders. She fights to defend what's left, but it's already too late. That powerlessness cuts deep and her silent grief is palpable. And the other part is the innocence of Vivi. Vivi's still a child, and during the siege, he sees firsthand the horrors of war, death, destruction and cruelty. He's already struggling with questions of identity and mortality, and now he's watching people suffer for reasons he doesn't understand. His innocence makes the tragedy of Burmecia hit harder. Through his eyes, the siege feels even more cruel and senseless. And the soundtrack itself is haunting. Burma/Freya's theme. It's a somber, echoing melody that underscores the sorrow of the moment without ever needing a single word. It evokes grief, nobility and deep loss, and the way it swells during Freya's scenes adds to the weight of her heartbreak. When the party actually end up confronting General Beatrix, they lose. Beatrix defeats them effortlessly, showcasing the power of the enemy and reinforcing the helplessness of the moment. You're not the hero swooping in to save the day, you're just too late. It subverts the usual RPG trope of victory through arrival, but in Burmecia, your presence doesn't change the outcome, the tragedy still happens. And up till now, Queen Bran's actions have been political, but this is where it becomes personal. You're not just hearing about war, you're walking through its aftermath. The dead are on the ground, the people are gone, the rain keeps falling. You're not just watching a plot unfold, you feel the cost of it. So the Siege of Burmecia is emotional because it's tragedy you can't prevent. It's about watching a proud warrior like Freya lose everything she's come to protect. It's about Vivi losing a piece of his innocence, and about the player learning that not every battle can be won, not every kingdom can be saved. It's a haunting, powerful reminder that war leaves scars, even in fantasy. My third and final honourable mention goes to this tragedy of Kion Garamode from Final Fantasy VI. Kion is a loyal knight of Doma, a proud and noble kingdom that stands against the invading Gestalian Empire. He's honourable, disciplined and deeply devoted to his king, his wife Elaine and his young son Owain. And then it all falls apart. During the war, the Empire lays siege to Doma Castle. Unable to breach the walls, Kefka, the mad court mage, poisons the water supply. Kion's king, soldiers and entire people, including his wife and son, die slowly and painfully as he watches, completely powerless to stop it. He survives, but his entire world dies around him. Why is it so devastating? He loses absolutely everything at once. Unlike some characters who lose loved ones before the story begins, we witness Kion's tragedy in real time. We see his love for his family, his dedication to his kingdom, and then we watch it all get ripped away. The scene where Kion finds his wife and son dead and then breaks down in raw, uncontrollable grief, it's genuinely painful to watch. And the worst part, he's the only one left. And then after the tragedy, Kion doesn't spiral out of rage or become consumed with revenge. Instead, he remains stoic, noble, the classic knight. But beneath that strength is a man carrying an unbearable weight of sorrow and guilt. He blames himself for surviving. He doesn't know how to move on. It's not just sad, it's real. His grief lingers through the entire game. And then later on in the World of Ruin, Kyan's sorrow manifests into one of the most surreal and emotional parts of the game, the dreamscape. You enter his subconscious, where he's haunted by his failure and guilt. You fight literal manifestations of his trauma, and only after confronting his grief head-on, he begins to heal. It's an incredible narrative moment, a psychological journey that shows how deep his pain goes and how hard it is to let go. In a game full of bombastic personalities, Kyan's sadness is quiet, it's dignified, and that makes it all the more powerful. He doesn't shout his pain, he carries it silently, which is something many players connect with on a personal level. Kyan's story is tragic because it's intimately human. He's a man who loses his whole family, his home, his purpose, and instead of exploding, he breaks slowly. His grief isn't solved with revenge or a single heroic act. It takes time, support, and emotional confrontation for him to begin healing. He's not just a warrior, he's a grieving husband, a father who failed to protect his son, and a man trying to live with an unbearable sorrow. And that's what makes his story so sad and so unforgettable. Okay guys, kicking off our list at number 10 is the scene where Tidus meets Jecht from Final Fantasy X. Now guys, as you know, from the very first scene in Final Fantasy X, Tidus makes one thing clear: he despises his father. Jecht was, in Tidus's mind, a selfish, arrogant man who constantly belittled him, made him feel small, and then vanished without warning. And that resentment shaped Tidus's identity. Every decision he made, every step he took, was in the defiance of being anything like Jecht. But as the pilgrimage unfolds, cracks form in that hatred. Through Braska's spheres, Tidus starts to see the truth. We learn Jecht was taken by Sin to Spira, where he travelled alongside Auron and High Summoner Braska. And in the end, Jecht willingly sacrificed himself to become Braska's final Aeon, the only way to defeat Sin. This isn't the story of a deadbeat father who ran away. It's the story of a man who gave up everything to protect the world he found himself in. And when Tidus finally reaches the heart of Sin and comes face to face with Jecht, the moment is nothing like he imagined. There's no shouting match, no tear-filled accusations. Jecht greets him with the same cocky grin and teasing bravado he always had, masking the pain of what's about to happen. Tidus, though still conflicted, is no longer the boy who only felt resentment. He's a young man who understands the truth. Jecht has been trapped for years in this monstrous prison, fighting to hold on to his own will. And then comes the battle. Not as a test of strength, but as an act of mercy. Every strike you land isn't just whittling down a health bar, it's a step closer to freeing Jecht from his torment. In subtle moments, you can almost sense Jecht helping, holding on to his humanity just long enough for this reunion to have meaning. His transformation into Braska's final Aeon is heartbreaking, not because it's shocking, but because it's inevitable. And then when it's over, there's no tidy reconciliation, no sentimental speeches, just quiet pride from father to son, and an unspoken acceptance from son to father. Tidus finally understands Jecht, his flaws, his sacrifices, and his love. And even if that love was never spoken aloud, Jecht gets to see the man his son has become, if only for a moment. It's more than just an emotional high point in Tidus's journey. It's the closing of a wound that's been open his entire life, the healing of a broken bond, wrapped in the tragedy of knowing that this moment can only end in goodbye. And guys, that is why this particular scene is number 10 in my list.
You'll cry. You're gonna cry. You always cry. See? You're crying.
I hate you, Dad.
Save it for later.
Right. We've got a job to do, don't we?
Good. That's right. You are my son, after all.
You know, for the first time, I'm glad to have you as my father.
Okay guys, coming in at number 9 is the You're Not Alone scene from Final Fantasy IX. Now, Zidane's always been sort of upbeat character, the leader, the optimist, the one that keeps the group moving forward no matter how bad things get. But in Final Fantasy IX, even heroes have their breaking points. After learning the truth about his origins, that he's not from Gaia, that he was created as a tool of destruction by the very villain he's fighting, Zidane's entire sense of identity shatters. The swagger, the smiles, the quick one-liners, all of it just falls away. He pushes his friends aside and charges into danger alone, because in his mind, they'll be better off without him. What follows is one of the most powerful sequences in the series. As Zidane fights his way through waves of enemies one by one, his friends step in. Steiner, Vivi, Freya, Rico. Each appears, refusing to let him face this alone. They don't lecture him, they don't tell him to snap out of it, they simply fight with him. Each arrival punctuated by the stirring notes of the track You're Not Alone. The beauty of this scene is its simplicity. It's not about defeating a big villain or saving the world in a movement. It's about reminding someone that they matter. Zidane's friends don't see him as a weapon or as a pawn in some sort of huge cosmic plan. They see him as family, and when you've spent an entire game building bonds with these characters, every single arrival carries emotional weight. And by the end of the sequence, Zidane's walls have cracked. The people he tried to push away have refused to leave his side. It's a moment of pure affirmation, a reminder that even when you can't see your own worth, the people who love you can. It's a scene that stayed with players for decades because it captures something rare in games, the quiet, stubborn power of friendship. And in a list of Final Fantasy's most emotional moments, this one earns its place, not just for its music, not just for its writing, but for the way it makes you, the player, feel like you've been part of something unshakable. And guys, that is why it's my number 9 on the list. And number 8, we have Galuf's Last Stand from Final Fantasy V. And Galuf is the heart of Final Fantasy V's party. He's the wise, warm grandfather figure whose humour and determination keep everyone together, even when the odds are impossible. But in one of the most devastating moments of the series, that steady presence is ripped away in an act of pure selflessness. When the party faces X-Death in his castle, things quickly spiral out of control. X-Death unleashes his full power, and his dark magic threatens to wipe everyone out. But when X-Death turns his fury toward Creel, Galuf's beloved granddaughter, something in him ignites. He throws himself between her and certain death, and refuses to move. What follows isn't like anything else in the series, guys. It isn't a cutscene you simply watch, it's a battle that you actually fight. and Gareth single-handedly taking on Exdeath pushes himself far beyond his limits. Every attack lands harder, every spell burns brighter, fueled not by the hope of survival, but by the absolute refusal to let evil touch the people he loves. The music swells, the screen shakes, but the real gut punch is the fact that no matter how hard Exdeath strikes back, Gulluf will not fall. His HP won't hit zero, because in that moment, he is unbreakable. It's really powerful. But victory has a cost, guys. Once Exdeath retreats, the reality sets in. Gulluf's strength has been spent. His friends gather around him, desperate to heal him, to pull him back, but there's nothing left to give. Even in his final moments, he's smiling, reassuring them, telling them to stay strong. His last words are for Creel, passing on not just his love, but his role as a protector. It's a scene that blends gameplay and story in a way few Final Fantasy titles have ever matched. You don't just see Galluf's resolve, you play it. You feel in the invincibility and then the crushing inevitability of loss. His death leaves a hole in the party that isn't just tactical, but deeply personal. For the rest of the game, Creel fights alongside you, carrying his spirit forward, a constant reminder of the man who gave everything so others could live. Galluf's last stand is more than a heroic sacrifice, it's the embodiment of what makes Final Fantasy's emotional moments resonate. Bravery, love, and the bittersweet knowledge that even the strongest hearts can't beat forever. And then silence. Galluf's body fades, his spirit leaving the battlefield, and in that emptiness Creel steps forward. She's small, young, and suddenly alone. Her grandfather, the man who raised and protected her, gone before she was ready to say goodbye. There's no big speech from Creel here, no grand vow of revenge. Instead, her grief is quiet, but cutting. The kind that sinks into your chest and stays there. The party gathers around her, not just to welcome a new ally, but to hold up someone who's just lost everything. When Creel takes Galluf's place in the team, it's not a mechanical change, it's a torch being passed. She carries his determination, his warmth, and his unthinkable will into every battle that follows. And every time she casts a spell or stands her ground, you remember she's fighting for herself, but she's also fighting for him. It's the kind of emotional follow-through that sort of makes Galluf's sacrifice linger longer after the scene is over. A reminder that in Final Fantasy, even loss can be transformed into strength. And that's why Galluf's final stand is number 8 on the list, guys. Coming in at number 7, guys, is the fate of the Black Mages and Vivi's journey from Final Fantasy IX. Now, Vivi's story is one of the most poignant in all of Final Fantasy. It's a young black mage struggling to understand his own existence in a world that sees him as little more than just a weapon. Unlike many characters, Vivi grapples directly with the painful truth that he and his kind were artificially created, and that their time is tragically limited. When Vivi confronts the fate of the Black Mages, it's not just an abstract moment about an entire race of beings, it's deeply personal. He sees reflections of himself in every one of those Black Mages, sharing the same fear, the same confusion, and the same desire to find meaning beyond their origins. This scene marks a turning point for Vivi. Instead of succumbing to despair, he chooses acceptance. He embraces the bittersweet reality that his life might be short, but it is his life, filled with friendships, emotions, and experiences that define him far more than his artificial creation ever could. The impact on Vivi is profound. It transforms his fear into determination, inspiring him to live fully despite uncertainty. Through Vivi, the game explores universal themes, what it means to be alive, to face mortality with courage, and to find hope in connection rather than circumstance. The gentle, haunting music and the quiet dignity of the Black Mage's acceptance mirror Vivi's own internal journey. For the player, this moment is both a farewell and a celebration, It's a reminder that even the most fragile lives can shine brightly, leaving a lasting mark on the world. Vivi's struggle with identity, purpose, and mortality elevates this scene from a simple plot point to one of Final Fantasy's most emotionally resonant moments, and it's why it holds such a special place in the hearts of fans. And guys, that's why the Fate of the Black Mages is my number 7 on the list. Okay guys, coming in at number 6 on my list is when Tidus learns Yuna's fate from Final Fantasy X. Now, this is the moment in Final Fantasy X where everything changes. Up until now, Yuna's pilgrimage has felt like a noble quest. Dangerous, yes, but something we've all been pushing forward with pride and hope. We've seen the trials in the temples, we've seen Yuna's courage, her kindness, and her unshakable smile. The way she treats everyone with respect, no matter who they are. But there's always been something somewhat unspoken. Something about the final summoning that no one wants to explain. And then it happens. Tidus learns the truth. The final summoning. Everyone's been working toward. It will defeat sin, but it will also take the summoner's life. For the people of Spira, this is normal. It's a tragic tradition that's been part of their lives for generations. They've lost so many summoners already, and they've accepted that's just the price of peace. But Tidus isn't from Spira. He hasn't been worn down by this cycle of sacrifice. He's not willing to accept the loss of Yuna as some inevitable outcome. And when he hears the truth, he reacts the way we do. He's furious, he's shocked, he's desperate to stop it. There's no calculated speech, no calm acceptance. It's pure, unfiltered emotion. And here's what makes it even harder. Yuna doesn't even flinch, doesn't even cry. She's already made peace with it. To her, giving her life is the greatest gift she can give to Spira, a world she loves enough to die for. And she's been carrying this truth her entire journey, hiding it behind that warm smile, comforting us, while she walks knowingly towards her own death. That contrast, Tidus's refusal to accept it, and Yuna's calm acceptance is devastating. And from that moment on, the pilgrimage stops being just about defeating sin. It becomes a race against time, a desperate fight to save Yuna's life. Every scene after this one is heavier. Every laugh the group shares feels more precious, and every glance between Tidus and Yuna feels more loaded with meaning. For us as players, it's like the whole game just shifts from underneath our feet. We've been walking forward, unaware of the cliff ahead, and now we can see the drop. It's not just a twist, it's the emotional turning point of Final Fantasy X. It's the moment the love story truly begins, and the moment the clock starts ticking. And that's why, guys, it earns the number 6 spot on my list.
I've been telling Yuna! Let's go to Xanarkand together! Let's beat Sin! I told her all the things! We could! And all along, the whole time, I didn't know anything! But Yuna, she'd just smile.
Coming in at number 5 on the list is Setsu's new airship from Final Fantasy VI. And by this time this scene happens in Final Fantasy VI, the world is already broken. Literally broken. The World of Ruin isn't just a dramatic title. Everything's changed. Towns are gone, people are scattered, and the light-hearted adventurers we had in the first half of the game feel like a distant memory. Setzer, the smooth-talking gambler who once swaggered through life with the blackjack under his feet, has lost his spirit. The blackjack is gone, and without it, Setzer feels like he's gone too. And then Kellis, Edgar, and Sabin track him down. They need him, not just for transportation, but because they believe he can help them start fighting back. And at first, Setzer's not convinced. He's weighed down by loss and defeat. You can see it. The man who's once lived by risk and chance now doesn't even want to roll the dice. And then they find it. The Falcon. The last airship in the world. Hidden away. And it's untouched since it belonged to Daryl, Setzer's closest friend. And perhaps something more. The scene where he steps aboard is quiet, reverent. This isn't just a ship, it's a memory. A piece of the past he thought was gone forever. And when the Falcon takes off for the first time, soaring over the shattered landscape, you can almost feel Setzer's spark coming back to life. It's more than just a moment of getting a new ride, it's a metaphor for hope in a world that's been stripped of it. The Falcon doesn't just give the party mobility, it gives them a reason to keep going. It tells us, the players, that even in the world of ruin, there's still a way forward. And for Setzer, it's not just about helping the team anymore, it's about honouring Daryl, flying her ship into the heart of danger and keeping her spirit alive in the skies. In a game filled with massive emotional beats, this scene is a quiet but powerful turning point. It's the moment the despair of the world of ruin begins to crack, and the light of possibility starts shining through. That's why this moment, the return to the skies with the Falcon, earns its spot on the list at number 5. Okay guys, coming in at number 4. It is the scene. It is Sephiroth kills Aerith from Final Fantasy VII. Now guys, this is the one that broke a generation of gamers. The moment that proved Final Fantasy VII wasn't just going to be another epic adventure, it was going to be personal. We've spent hours with Aerith by this point. We've laughed with her, fought alongside her, we've watched her bond with Cloud grow in subtle, beautiful ways. She's not just the healer in the party, she's the heart of it, the light in the group's darkest moments. And then she leaves. No warning, no big goodbye, just a quiet departure to the forgotten capital, following her own path to save the planet. We find her kneeling at the altar, bathed in the soft light of the water's reflection. She's praying, summoning the white materia's power to stop Meteor, and then it happens. A flash of silver. A single fluid motion. Sephiroth descends from above, his blade piercing her in an instant. There's no drawn-out speech, no battle, just finality. The music doesn't swell in a triumphant score, instead, it's silent, and then the haunting piano theme begins. It's not just that Aerith dies, it's how she dies, just completely unarmed, without a chance to defend herself, in the middle of an act of pure selflessness. The entire party is just frozen in shock, and so are we, as the players. It's not a fake-out death, this is permanent. And Cloud, the way he lowers her into the water, hands trembling, you can see the weight of it in his eyes. A mix of grief, guilt, and rage that will shape his every step from here on. For players, this is more than just losing a party member. It was losing a friend. Someone you'd healed, leveled, equipped, someone you thought would be there until the very end. And suddenly, she's gone. This scene is unforgettable because it dared to shatter the illusion of safety in a video game. It told us that no one was untouchable. Yet even in a world of magic and heroes, Sometimes you can't save the people you care about the most. It's not just one of Final Fantasy's most emotional scenes, it's one of the most powerful moments in video game history, and that's why it absolutely earns its place at number 4 on my list.
Cloud, it's okay.
Aerith.
I'll kill you!
Okay guys, just grabbing the bronze medal is the final campfire scene from Final Fantasy XV. This is the quiet before the end. After all the battles, all the road trips, and all the laughs and the pain, Final Fantasy XV brings us here. A single campfire. 4 friends together one last time. By this point, we know what's coming. Noctis knows it too. He's accepted his fate, that he's not going to walk away from the fight with Ardyn. This isn't just one more night of rest before the final battle, it's a goodbye. The scene is so simple. There's no grand speeches, no epic music, just the soft crackle of the fire, the glow of the flames in their faces, and the sound of 4 friends sharing a final moment of peace. One by one, they reminisce, not about saving the world, but about the little things, the fishing trips, the stupid arguments, the meal Ignis cooked, moments that at the time felt small, but now feel priceless. And then Noctis speaks. He thanks them, tells them they've been the best friends he could ever have asked for. And you can hear the emotion in his voice. It's a mix of gratitude, love, and the crushing weight of knowing this is going to be the last time he'll ever see them. It's rare for a video game to strip everything away like this, like the magic, the spectacle, and leave you with something so human. And in this moment, they're not warriors or kings or saviors, they're just friends. They're sitting around a fire, holding on to that little time they have left. And when the camera lingers on each of their faces, Gladio, Ignis, Prompto, and finally Noctis, it's like the game is giving you a chance to say goodbye too. And the final campfire isn't just an emotional scene. It's the emotional core of Final Fantasy XV. It's what makes everything that comes after hurt so much more, because saving the world is one thing, but saying goodbye to your best friends, that's the part that stays with you forever. And that's why this quiet, devastating, beautiful scene earns its spot at number 3 on my list.
Well, what can I say? You guys are the best.
Okay guys, the penultimate emotional moment, in my opinion, from throughout Final Fantasy is Callus's despair from Final Fantasy VI. For me, few moments in gaming hit as unexpectedly hard as this one. By the time we reach this scene in Final Fantasy VI, the world as we knew it is gone. Kefka has essentially won. The world of ruin stretches out in broken pieces, and most of your friends are missing, maybe dead. Callus doesn't know at this point. And then we see Callus alone. And for a year, she's been cared for by Cid, one of the only survivors on this tiny, isolated island. He's her lifeline, her one connection to hope. But even that fragile light doesn't last. If Cid becomes too ill or dies, depending on how you've played. Essentially, you can give him slow fish, which will help him die, or if you give him the fast fish, he will survive. But depending on how you've played, Callus is left completely alone. And it's in this moment, when the last tether to her old life snaps, she just breaks. She walks to the cliffside. The wind is harsh, and the sea below is merciless. She whispers that she can't live in this ruined world anymore, and throws herself from the edge. It's quick, it's silent, and it's devastating, because it's not about sudden violence or shock value. It's about the crushing weight of hopelessness. Callus isn't weak. She's been one of the strongest characters in the game, but strength doesn't mean immunity to despair. She's lost her friends, her purpose, her world, and for a brief tragic moment, she can't even see any reason to go on anymore. And yet, she survives. She wakes up on the shore, and she finds a letter. A message from Sid urging her to keep living, to search for the others, to rebuild what was lost. And this scene is unforgettable because it's rare for a video game, especially from that era, to tackle such a raw human emotion. It's not about magic or monsters or epic battles, it's about loss. The kind of loss that can make you forget who you are and why you fight. Callus's suicide attempt is shocking, but it's also a turning point. It's the moment she chooses, consciously or not, to keep going. To stand back up and take that first step toward finding her friends and facing Kefka again. It's one of Final Fantasy VI's most haunting and human moments, and that's why it absolutely deserves the silver medal on my list. Okay guys, our number one pick is obviously the Tidus laughing scene. No, it isn't. It is the ending of Final Fantasy X. And oh boy, what a moment this is. From the moment they met in Besaid, Tidus and Yuna's connection felt different. It wasn't the instant sort of fiery spark of some epic romance. It was softer, slower. It grew in the spaces between battles, in shared laughs, in quiet glances when the others weren't looking. I mean, Tidus at first is this cocky, sort of wide-eyed outsider. He doesn't even understand Spira's traditions, doesn't see the weight Yuna carries as a summoner, but he's drawn to her. Her kindness, her warmth, and the quiet strength that never seems to break, even under the crushing burden of her pilgrimage. And Yuna, she sees Tidus in something Spira doesn't have. He's hopeful. He challenges the idea that her fate is already sealed. He makes her laugh when no one else can, and little by little they become each other's anchor in a journey filled with danger, loss, and secrets. And we've seen them grow closer, from the awkward banter in Luca to the quiet intimacy of the Macalania lake scene. We've watched as Tidus learns the truth about the final summoning, as he vows to find another way, and as Yuna starts to believe that maybe, just maybe, her story doesn't have to end in sacrifice. But in the end, it's just not that simple. They defeat sin, they destroy Yevon, and they break the cycle that's trapped Spira for generations. And yet, there's a price. Tidus isn't from this world. He's a dream of the faith, sustained only by their existence. And with sin gone, the faith's dream finally ends. Which means Tidus ends too. The scene on the airship is heartbreak distilled into a perfect few minutes. Yuna turns to see him and she knows he's fading, and there's nothing either of them can do. She runs to him. Tidus smiles, but there's pain in his eyes. They try to hold on to each other, but her arms pass through him like mist. The weight of everything they've been through together crashes down in that moment. Yuna calls out his name. Her voice breaks. This isn't the tearful farewell of a couple who had a lifetime together. It's the goodbye of two people who just found each other and are being torn apart far too soon. And then Tidus runs. He doesn't turn back. Dives into the air, the wind rushing past him, and fades into the light. Yuna collapses to her knees, sobbing. Her voice trembles as she delivers her speech to Spira, thanking them and promising to keep going. But you can hear it, the hollow ache beneath her words. Because even though they've saved the world, she's lost the one person who made her believe she could change it. The scene it isn't just sad. It's the culmination of an entire journey. The laughter, the hope, the defiance, the love that grew in the middle of impossible odds. And we fought for them, we've believed in them, and in the end we have to let one of them go. It's tender, it's devastating, and it's beautiful. And that's why the airship farewell between Tidus and Yuna isn't just my #1 emotional moment in Final Fantasy, it's one of the greatest in gaming history.
Yuna!
I love you.
And there you have it, guys. The most emotional moments, for me anyway, in Final Fantasy. From quiet goodbyes to shocking twists, from heartbreak to hope. These scenes remind us why this series is more than just battles and stats. It's about the people, the bonds we form, the players, with them. And the way their stories stay with us long after the credits roll. Whether it's love found and lost, friendships tested in the fires of despair, or a single act of sacrifice that changes everything. Final Fantasy has a way of reaching into our hearts and not letting go. These moments made us laugh, they made us cry, and made us sit back, controller in hand, and just feel. But that's my list. Now I want to hear from you guys. What Final Fantasy moments hit you the hardest? Which scenes do you still think about years later? Drop them in the comments, because if there's one thing this series teaches us, it's that these journeys are even better when we share them. Thanks for watching, guys, and as always, treasure the moments because you never know when you'll be saying goodbye.
Everyone has lost something precious.